Hey y'all, happy Juneteenth. I'm excited about today. Other than my birthday, this has to be my favorite day in June. So if you're not like off gallivanting and celebrating the holiday, welcome. I'm excited to be spending part of my Juneteenth holiday with all of you here live. Please let me know what you're doing for the holiday, how you're commemorating it, even if you did previous events over the weekend. For example, I know my family did a lot of Juneteenth events prior to today, did some volunteering today. Got a call from my friend Keisha that she did this really cool photo shoot with the Black doctor in town. Like, I'm excited, okay? And the fact that we get to hang out on this Juneteenth day is even better. Hey, Blissfully Mimi on YouTube. What's up, Doc? Aya, how you doing, sis? Uh-oh, Butterfly Effect PDX. New followers in the house. How y'all doing on this lovely, lovely holiday? Hey, Black Tinkerbell. I can't see everybody that's joining, but thank you for joining me today. So today is the series, not the series, series finale? Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Might be ending my live streams. No, I'm just kidding. The season finale, the spring season finale of my live streams. After today, I will be going on summer hiatus, summer break to live my best life, rest, relax, do other things. If you saw my post about my hobbies, you know how I will be spending my summer break. So if you haven't watched the rest of the series, I highly recommend it. It's probably easier to find it on YouTube, but it's also here on Instagram and on LinkedIn. You can catch up. There are 20 episodes in the live series. Today we're talking about solutions. So for the past 20 weeks, I've shared different ways that colorism shows up in the workplace, in the school to workplace pipeline, and healthcare outcomes, profiling, like so many of the systemic consequences, so much of the systemic manifestations of colorism that don't get talked about as often. And throughout, I have sprinkled ideas on how you can address it. I've included week-to-week homework, things that you can do for your inner work, as well as ways that you can show up in environments that you frequent. And so today we're talking about, now that we know, most of you already knew, let's be honest. Let me put this on Do Not Disturb. Do not disturb. Do not disturb. Okay. Oh, come on. All right, Instagram, y'all back? Y'all back? Okay. I got a phone call. So I had to do not disturb everything. Where was I? What was I saying? I forgot. What I wanted to say though is that for the solutions episode, I want to hear from all of you. So I've been chatting a lot about my advice, my tips, my strategies, what I would do, responding to questions, but there's a lot of collective wisdom, a lot of collective knowledge. The people who follow me are brilliant. Most of you have your own platforms where you guide people into anti-racist work, or you guide people into mental health programs, and just y'all, we fly out here, okay? So I'm curious to know if we could crowdsource some solutions as well, right? Like if someone asked you, intelligent, brilliant viewer, if someone asked you what they could do to address colorism, how they can respond to colorism as a problem, next steps that they could take to take action on colorism, what would you say? Because again, y'all been hearing me talk for the past 20 weeks. And so I want you to comment. I will read your comments out loud so that they are saved and transcribed on the video, particularly on Instagram. Since Instagram doesn't save the chat, I have to read your comments in order to keep them for the future. A few announcements while you all are kind of reflecting. Again, if you're just tuning in, let me know how you're spending your Juneteenth. Aya says, I am hanging out with my oldest. That's a great one. Living out our freedom. Okay? And then Aya says, follow Dr. Sarah Webb. I'm here for it. First and foremost, to address colorism, follow Dr. Sarah Webb. Thank you, Aya. You're so sweet. Hey, Keisha. Oh, yes, girl. The hair. I was like, oh, it's Juneteenth. We wearing the fro today. Okay, we wearing the fro. It's the series. I keep saying series finale. It's the spring season finale of this live stream. So like, I got to throw it out. Quick little side note about my hair. So I started like doing my twist outs. I untwist them when my hair is still slightly damp so that it keeps a little bit of the frizziness. And then I like retwist it that night while the hair is dry. And so it's more fro-like. I just like it, okay? So a little tip there for the twist outs. But speaking of events and celebrations, on July 17th, 2023, your girl is hosting an event in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, okay? So if you or someone you know is in or around Dallas on June 17th, 2023, tell them to link up with me, tell them to come hang out with us on June 17th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's technically in Mansfield, Texas, which is a suburb of the greater Dallas area. I would love to see y'all, okay? So Dallas, Texas, or Mansfield, Texas is where my permanent address currently is. Most of you know that I'm traveling full time, but when I'm taking a break from traveling, I go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area because that's where my immediate the bulk of my immediate family resides. My niece and nephew are there, right? So also if you want to meet my family, because they're going to be there too. So come through and see the crew. Come through and see the crew. I'm looking for a few collaborators, people who might want to help sponsor this event. So if you know, or if you are a business owner yourself, you want to be part of the sponsorship team. But I'm being joined by Celeste Graham of the Slayless Show, Slayless Podcast. So I did a post, I tagged her in it. So check her out as well. We're gonna have music, of course, because I'm hosting. So it's gonna be music, dancing. I'm gonna be dancing. If y'all wanna dance with me, that's fine. Matter of fact, we might dance today since it's Juneteenth. I think at the end of the live, I might orchestrate a virtual electric slide. If you with me, okay? So just cue up your music. Refreshments, because it's also the 10-year anniversary of Colorism Healing. So I just want to have fun, okay? I be teaching a lot, and that's work. And I'm like, let's celebrate over the summer, okay? And then also I'm like still lit from my birthday. As you can tell, this live is a little different than the previous 19 live streams I've did this series. But hey, it's a special day, okay? And then we'll have some community dialogue, right? We'll be able to talk about love and liberation and what those two things mean, right? Speaking of liberation, speaking of celebrating our freedom, that is the focus. And I do believe that there is no love without freedom. And to me, true freedom, full freedom is an expression of love, right? So we'll be talking about that as well as other things that come up in the conversation. I'm looking forward to that. And also, if you are interested in collaborating with me on an event in your city, email me, okay? Because I'm always down to like visit a new city and talk about colorism and misogynoir and Black liberation and Black love and all the things, okay? I will also be in ATL at some point this year, in July actually. And then after that, I'm going to, keeping that a secret. I'm not going to tell y'all yet where I'm going after Atlanta. Some people already know. And then after that, I'll be in Baltimore for a workshop on colorism healing. That workshop, I'll be posting details about that, but just giving y'all a heads up. Like that workshop will be September 27th in Baltimore, and then we're doing the retreats, the colorism healing retreat for members of the support group, right? So we out here, we doing things in person, and I hope that you can join me wherever you are. Again, let me know where you are. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And yeah, so let's get into the topic. I've seen some comments. Hey, Michael, glad you could join us on this good Juneteenth day. If you're joining late, we're talking about solutions to colorism. That's what everybody wants to know. Somebody left a comment. They were like, oh, this is interesting. What do you suggest as solutions? And I was like, have you considered watching my hundreds of videos before asking that question? All right. Let's see what y'all are recommending as solutions to colorism. So Aya again says to follow me, follow moi, follow Colorism Healing for sure. Also, just follow like a lot of dark-skinned Black people. Follow a wide range of dark-skinned Black content creators, whether they talk about anti-racism and colorism and social justice, or whether they're just doing like travel vlogs or like fashion vlogs or just posting selfies, right? Follow a variety of dark-skinned content creators. Aya says, also accept that people, especially light-skinned Black people and dark-skinned Black people, gaslight and deny the realities of colorism. Accept that they are going to do that and trust your lived experiences. Okay, so advice from Aya there. Michael says, yes, let's celebrate. Get poppin', okay? Save me a Juneteenth plate. If y'all got a cookout going on, if y'all got a barbecue going on, put a plate aside for me. I will eat it in spirit, okay? Aya says, full freedom is an expression of love. Absolutely, I'm here for it. Please let me know about Baltimore. This is Blissfully Mimi, I'm coming. Bet Blissfully Mimi, Baltimore in the house. So one of the Black-owned businesses that I'm working with for the Baltimore event, I didn't know until I heard her accent on her IG video today. I was like, sis, you from Louisiana, ain't you? I said, you might be a Baltimorean now, but that accent, I recognize it every time. You are originally from Louisiana. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, well, actually, I'll be posting it on YouTube too. So just be on the lookout for that. It'll be in September, late September, and it'll only be open to 15 people. So if you want to participate in that workshop, it'll be free to the community, but up to 15 people in the community, okay? So definitely be on the lookout for those announcements, all right? Michael, solution. Y'all need to stop with the BS because y'all know full and well. I like y'all's solutions. I love y'all's solutions so much. Michael on LinkedIn is saying, y'all need to stop. Just stop with the BS. You know full and well, you know good and well, okay? All right, let's see. I saw some comments come through on Instagram too. Possibly solutions. Black Tinkerbell says, oh, my Juneteenth celebration is grilling out with my family. Put aside a plate for your girl, Tinkerbell. We're going to probably talk politics because that's what we always do. Yes, I really wish I was hanging out with like every single one of y'all. I am, technically. It's just virtual. CC, I'm not sure how you would pronounce your screen name, so I'm just going to read the letters. CECICESTLA, okay? It is important to have models. Beautiful people from all over and from Africa walking the runways and showcasing themselves, and we need to wear color. Melanin looks beautiful against colors, okay? I'm here for this solution. I'm here for this advice. I'm here for this tip. I love colors, I love me some color, okay? Yellow happens to be my favorite color, but all the colors look good, okay? And I agree with you, models on runways, models in mainstream industries. But again, if you own an Instagram account, you could be your own model, right? Like anybody could post pictures of themselves. So models in every industry, models for, even if it's like an ad for a restaurant, even if it's an ad for like shampoo or an ad for a clothing company, right? Like use models, whatever industry you're in. Even if it's like a technology company, if you're making a commercial, get dark-skinned models for your commercial, right? Great advice. Let's see what else y'all talking about, advice-wise. Melanin is so magical. They are using melanin in computer chips. Stop. For real? Oh, that's some interesting bit of information. Kindly Peace says, I'm here for the electric slide. Y'all already know. Hey, look, if you don't want to see me be silly, you might want to go ahead and click off because I'm going to be silly today. Black Tinkerbell says, my biz, T is the name, would love to do your cocktails. Hey, okay, bet. I'm gonna have to watch this back so I can remember who all like said that. Yeah, where are you located at, Black Tinkerbell? Are you in the DFW area? That would be awesome. Hey folks, if you're just tuning in, we're celebrating Juneteenth. Everybody, I'm asking us to crowdsource solutions to colorism. So I'm getting people to write in the comments what they would say if someone asked them what to do about colorism, okay? Because y'all been hearing me talk for the past 10 plus years. I've been talking for over a decade. So I'm trying to like highlight your insights, your wisdom, your knowledge. If you have a page that also focuses on colorism, plug yourself, okay? Plug yourself in the chat. If you have a resource on colorism, plug yourself in the chat. Let's do it, folks. Black Tinkerbell says colorism solutions. It starts with acknowledging that it exists. I had to let that one sit for a minute. Because folks acting up, especially this last 2 weeks, okay? Can we start there? Acknowledge that it exists. Cheryl, CLBP, is definitely somebody y'all should be following. As well as I'm not sure, Cheryl, put in the chat the handle for Women of Color Unite, what y'all Instagram handle is. But Cheryl says, happy Juneteenth, gorgeous. Right back at you, gorgeous. Oh, yeah. Is you on Instagram and LinkedIn? On LinkedIn, Aya is saying, another solution is to be okay with putting yourself first and centering yourself every MF day. Y'all are on fire. I already sent y'all a love note on my last live stream about how I love my followers. My mutual followers, especially because I actually see y'all's content. And I'm just like, y'all are so inspiring. I love the way y'all dress. Y'all are funny, successful. I'm just like, give me life, please. Aya says, and never apologize for centering yourself and other dark-skinned Black people. That's right. We don't always have to extend the olive branch. People always look to us to extend the olive branch and try to build those bridges that other people have burned down. And it's like, I'm gonna focus on me. I'm gonna focus on people who look like me because other people don't. All right, it's Maya Mr. Kier. Hey Maya, here for serious Dr. Webb, here for silly Dr. Webb. Thank you. Because I'm a Gemini, so I could switch it up right quick. I could do a little bit of both. Got the twins. Always ready. The twins are always ready. It's like that Masego song. He said, choose your fighter. Like when you're playing the video games, you have to choose your fighter. It's like, which Gemini is going to show up today? Which side of Dr. Webb is going to show up today? All right. What's up, Nubia Flo? Louis Abear? Louis Abear? Maybe that's how you say it. Hello from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. Hey! Shout out to the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. Do you follow the account Vintage Caribbean? I see them come across my feed a lot, and I think about all of the places in the Caribbean I still need to visit. I'm making my way east. Hopefully I see every country, especially if I have followers in those countries. I definitely want to roll through. So Cheryl is saying, I would say listen to you and Akosawa, but you know that I think the two of you should run DEI in Hollywood. Okay? Yeah, we waiting for Hollywood to, to also see that. But listen, Cheryl, also write Dr. Akosawa's screen name. It's the dark girl on colorism, and she also does the Sister Circle. I think it's called the Sister Circle, or Sisters in Education Circle or something like that. Yeah, so definitely plug y'all's handles in the chat. Nubia Flo says, me and my friend just having this conversation, acknowledging how it exists. Okay, so that's like a lot of people are saying we could go far. We could get so much further if we have to stop pulling teeth just to get people to acknowledge that it exists, right? Like that. They talk about reaching a critical mass in order to see momentum. And so I think we need to push down that first domino in order to be able to start seeing momentum. Is that struggle, the constant struggle to even get people to acknowledge it. And for me, it's like once you know that it exists, I find that a lot of people still trivialize it. They still are like, oh, well, but that's just like, playground politics. Or that's just like, somebody being jealous of somebody else, right? Like they really reduce it to just this inconsequential thing. And so that's what this whole corporate colorism series has been about, is that colorism is not just, the boy in elementary school said calling me charcoal, right? Like it has ripple effects throughout every aspect of my life as a dark-skinned Black woman, right? And dark-skinned Black people's lives are at stake because of colorism and other things. But colorism is one of the things that leads to like greater death rates amongst darker skinned people, greater financial obstacles, career obstacles. And so it's like that part is where it starts. And that has takes an emotional and psychological toll, right? When you're being teased or bullied. But it's far more systemic, far more far-reaching than just that, right? Yeah. Okay, so Cheryl has the tag there. The bearded social worker. Hey, I get gaslit from some lighter Blacks. It's not a thing because they deal with colorism from darker Blacks. Oh, the bearded social worker. I've done a couple of videos on this quote unquote reverse colorism thing. So if you want to get some ammunition, some ammo to reply or to respond when people are saying that, you can just search reverse colorism on my YouTube channel. But I'll be doing it again. I know someone asked me to do a video on what to say when people call you jealous. So I'll probably be doing that at some point. Maybe not as part of a series, but just maybe as a standalone video, like how to respond as a dark-skinned Black woman in particular, because we're the ones that always get called jealous or hating or why y'all insecure, yada, yada, yada. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and those same people would never tolerate a white person using the phrase reverse racism, but they are perfectly fine claiming reverse colorism. All right, let's see. Black Tinkerbell says, the bearded social worker, I definitely had to call someone out about this yesterday. See? Y'all own it. Black Tinkerbell. Amanda Seals refuses colorism, in my opinion. Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of her content where she doesn't want to acknowledge, or at least hasn't, the stuff I saw where she didn't want to acknowledge anything related to light skin privilege. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So again, if you're just joining and you have ideas, thoughts, things you tried in the past for how we can solve colorism, how we can address colorism. So far, people have been talking about how the very first thing is like, folks need to stop pretending like it doesn't exist. Like that's part of what is holding us back, is y'all act like it don't exist, or you act like it's insignificant, you act like it's trivial, etc. Over on LinkedIn, more folks are saying, and denial is really, really absurd, yet exhaustive. The gaslighting is really damaging. That's why I adore and admire your work, because you come with receipts, like serious receipts. Yeah. Michael is proposing another solution, says bust a foot in their assets to make them learn with love. Y'all are so funny. Aya says Amanda still refuses colorism. WTF. Yeah. So happy Juneteenth, everyone. I'm going to say a few things, okay, in terms of solutions to corporate colorism in particular, since that has been generally the focus. I've talked about historical context and like social context more broadly, but the title of the series was corporate colorism. And so thinking about solutions, I agree 100% with everyone saying that we need to get over our denial of the issue. We need to get past trying to like asking for proof. Well, prove that it's even a thing. Prove that it's important, right? So that's the very first step. If you are in a position of influence, any level of influence, I feel like everyone has some level of influence. So whatever level of influence you have, start to engage people, start to find out who are the people who get it, like who are the people that you can team up with, where are your accomplices of any, type. And then also for corporate colorism, the thing I've been saying every week is that you have to include colorism as one of your DEI pillars, right? So a lot of corporate DEI, they understand the need to address gender inequality. They understand the need to address racial inequality. They talk about gender bias and creating safe spaces for LGBTQ folks. And they talk about veterans issues, right? So corporate DEI, like, you have to elevate colorism to the same status as these other isms, right? You have to elevate colorism to the same status as you do your anti-racist work. And in fact, the very first video I did in this series was why your anti-racist work doesn't work, because y'all ignoring colorism. Okay, so this is the last video in the series. Hit rewind, go all the way back to the beginning, and understand that in corporate culture, in corporate strategy and business strategy, if you are a business of any size that genuinely wants to be anti-racist, then you can't get around colorism as a core issue that enables you to do that, right? So that's my big thing. And then what I'll say too is everyone has to be doing their inner work. And with something like colorism, again, we realize that just because we are among the quote unquote woke doesn't mean we don't have work to do. There are people of every color, race, and gender who have not looked at their colorist biases. There are people who are social justice warriors who are colorists. There are people who are super, super pro-Black that harbor colorist ideas and feelings and attitudes. And it's an ongoing thing because let's say you do the work and you re-engage with the world. You're going to be re-exposed to colorist messages every day. Every day you turn on the TV, every day you open a magazine, every day you log on to the internet, every day you walk down the street. You're going to be exposed to colorist, anti-Black, misogynoir, all the things. And so the work to unlearn these things, you have to be constantly, you have to have a practice, an ongoing practice that helps you to resist that messaging, those narratives. And I talk about it, I've said this before, that colorism healing and doing this work is more like hygiene than it is surgery or a lobotomy, right? I think a lot of people say, oh, I want a one and done, one-time thing. I did this training that one time. I journaled for a few weeks and I'm good for the rest of my life. But I say that this work around ending colorism, but also for ourselves, unlearning that bias, unlearning that conditioning, you have to think of it like washing your hands and brushing your teeth, okay? You don't just do that once in your lifetime. You do that daily. Brushing your hands, washing your teeth, washing your face, bathing. Why? Because the world is dirty. The world has bacteria. The world has germs. And so if you engage with the world, you're going to get dirty. You're going to get that stuff on you. And so the same is true with unlearning the things that society tries to pound into our heads every day. It's like, what's my version of washing my hands of colorist narratives? What's my version of washing my hands after I've been exposed to anti-Black rhetoric? What's my way of washing my hands after I've been exposed to misogynoir, or after I've been attacked, or after I've been bullied, or whatever the instances are? You have to have a mental health hygiene practice. You have to have a subconscious hygiene practice. And I said to, I don't know when I said this, I be saying stuff, and I don't always remember when or where or to whom. But 95 to 98% of our actions are based on our subconscious programming. And so even those of us who consciously think of ourselves as advanced, as having it all figured out, like, oh, we are the wokest, we are the most radical, we're the most militant, right? We always have to be checking and guarding our subconscious mind. Because consciously, we all think we're great. Right? Consciously, we all think we are the flyest and the bestest. But subconsciously, there's a whole lot. 95 to 98% of it is happening in that subconscious. And so what are we doing to protect our subconscious, but also what are we doing to sort of cleanse and recalibrate and reprogram our subconscious? Because there's subliminal messaging coming from every direction. There's subliminal, explicit, blatant, covert, spoken, implicit, all the messages, all of the rhetoric, all of the narratives, all of the conditioning is constantly going to be coming. And I also have compared it to like swimming upstream or like being in a river. And so if you're just floating, if you're like, oh, this is easy, then you're probably going along with the current of racism and colorism and misogyny war, right? Like if it doesn't feel like effort, then you're just floating along with the tide. If you want to resist these things, then it's going to feel like resistance. It's going to feel like swimming upstream. All right, let's see if any other comments have come in. Oh yes, they have. It's the willful ignorance and denial for me, all because you are happy with your space in the line. Okay, Aya, coming up with bringing up one of the analogies I used before. Just keep it real. You like your privilege. And ongoing practice. I like that hygiene versus surgery. Christine, hey Christine Carino. For every racial categories established across the globe, darker skinned people have always been at the bottom. It doesn't make sense for anyone to deny it. Agreed, 100%. Because hygiene is a daily thing. Exactly. I think our orientation to this work has to incorporate some type of daily habit, right? Not that you have to be working every day, but some form of what you do has to be geared towards self-care, mental health, again, unlearning these things. I could go into more detail than this. I even think about like your environment, the environment that you choose to be in, but also how you curate your environment. So like the art you hang on your walls, the background on your desktop, just a lot of things could go into that. All right, Michael says, Dr. Janice Gassama-Serre immediately talks about colorism in the first section of her LinkedIn learning course. Good. I know Dr. Janice, I do. She interviewed me for a Forbes article on colorism as well as Nam Just Pretty. She interviewed Lavonda White of Nam Just Pretty and myself on colorism. So she's a lighter skinned person, but I think she's an example of how you can be light skinned and still keep it real on what colorism is and how it operates. And she always directs people to me, for example, the young woman who does the Darkest Hue account. Can't remember her like actual name, but she always recommends people to dark skin creators and dark skin educators as well, right? So definitely an additional person to look into. Colorism Solutions. Oh, I think I read that. I read that already. Let's see. Yes. Black Tinkerbell says, I've shared that video with my PWI and their DEI leadership. Very nice. Very cool. Ben Takei says, I think colorism is more identified in the South Asian community because you'll hear them always talk about how the dark-skinned South Asians are treated less than, but in the Black community, people try to trivialize it and dismiss it. Yeah, I think like in some ways, because for example, when you go to other countries, the skin bleaching market is more prevalent. Like there are more explicit advertisements, more explicit discussions around like this preference for lighter skin. Whereas in the US, like you wouldn't really see the blatant like ads or billboards actively promoting like skin whitening or whatever. And so I think it is harder to deny it. It's harder to deny that it exists in other places, but also because I think for so long in America, in the United States and in other places, for so long, Black people have been focused on the racial fight, right? And we're in Juneteenth, so, you know, this is perfectly timed. For so long, Black people have been like focused on racism, and we've been focused on the legal precedents based on race. And so it's hard for Black people who have been so oppressed and so marginalized to start to ask, okay, but how am I also privileged? I think that's really, really hard for a lot of Black people and for a lot of other marginalized groups, a lot of other people who have for so long understood their positioning in society as part of the oppressed group, as part of the marginalized group. And so people often deny it because they're focusing on the ways that they've been oppressed. And what colorism asks us to do is to also consider that even among the oppressed, there are levels of oppression, there are levels of privilege, there are levels of access, there are levels of marginalization. And it has to be an intersectional lens. And so I think for Black people who are any, person who denies that privilege exists, even for someone who's marginalized in other ways, like that's part of where the denial comes from. It's like this cognitive dissonance of, I've so often identified privileged people as cishet white men. And since I'm not that, then I can't be privileged. You know what I mean? Yeah, I love that perspective. Colorism work is like hygiene. It's daily work. Yeah. Hey, Zadia. I'm more conscious of how I compliment women of different shades of Black, balance out the good feeling of doing it. Yeah, being conscious is really important. Practicing that self-awareness is key. Self-awareness is definitely, it's going to be really hard to create change if people aren't proactively practicing self-awareness. And be open to the fact that you might harbor colorism. Because again, just like, okay, so let's say most people get it, right? Like if a white person says, I'm not racist, and you say, yeah, but you might not consciously want to be racist, but you could still have racial bias. You could still be biased, even if consciously you don't want to be that way. So the same is with colorism. Even anyone who doesn't want to be colorist, like you have to be willing to acknowledge that you might have been conditioned to be colorist. Yay. Okay, let's see. To be honest, people just hate and dehumanize dark-skinned people. Where did that comment go? I lost that comment. It's obvious that there are levels of oppression. Come on. That's just my opinion. Oh yeah, it's all obvious. It really is all obvious, for sure. Very explicit in the way they view being competitive in the global market is assimilating to whiteness. Oh, Christine Carino on LinkedIn. Okay, spilling some tea. Let me read that again. Very explicit in the way they view being competitive in the global market is assimilating to whiteness, hence the skin bleaching. It's a whole culture that have become an identity for so many. As a Filipino who experienced colorism as a child and even coming back to visit the motherland, the question, aren't you from America? Why is your color not American? Yes. So again, because it has been so normalized in many cultures and many communities, none of us should assume that we've escaped conditioning. None of us should assume that we've escaped these beliefs and these mindsets, because it is pervasive. And in many places, it's being colorist is as mundane as telling people it might rain tomorrow. The sky is blue. You know what I mean? There's oxygen in the air, right? Like that's how natural and normal it is in a lot of communities and cultures. And so doing that inner work, I posted this in my stories once about how people think that, me, like if I focus a lot on personal work or inner work or my mental health, that is like less radical. But I think the healthiest form of external work is when you are actively doing your internal work. We've seen a lot of people doing external work, and it's clear, for many of us, it's clear when they are not also doing inner work, internal work. Because it shows up in ways that they continue to cause harm without accountability, right? And not that you won't ever cause harm even when you're doing your inner work, but then you're willing to reflect, you're willing to take the feedback, you're willing to have accountability when you do make a misstep, right? Or you do something that has created harm. But there are a lot of people out here that just clearly are not doing the inner work. All right, it says on point, yes. So I think we can sort of end this with a Juneteenth celebration. So I mentioned doing the electric slide. Yes, who's with me? Yeah, don't mind me. I just really like my hair. Doing the electric slide, which is like a classic African-American gathering practice. If you don't know how to do an electric slide, you're gonna learn today. I want to share like my view with my Instagram followers. I can't turn my camera around for LinkedIn and YouTube, but on Instagram, I want to show y'all. So I've been doing these lives from this same spot for weeks, and I just am obsessed with my view. So this is what I get to look at when I'm talking to y'all. And I just can't stop looking at it. I sit on my couch and I'm just like, I could do this all day. Yes. All right. So cue up your music. I'm not going to play music because I don't want to get copyright infringement. But y'all can play music though. Y'all can play your favorite summertime jam. And we're going to do the electric slide. Electric slide. And if you are going to drop off for the electric slide, if you don't want to dance, or if you want to stay just to see how I do it, you are welcome to do that. Dr. Sarah, fro and shine. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. All right, people. I love you all. Celebrate your freedom, the freedoms that you do have. And remember, we have a long fight to go to continue to protect those freedoms because they trying to roll them back. Okay? So we're going to pause today to celebrate our freedom. And then we're going to get back to work protecting and expanding those freedoms as far and wide as possible. All right? Yes! Woo, okay, so let me take y'all with me. All right, so if you are going to do the electric slide with me, hang in there. But if not, I will see y'all in the fall. I'm going to see y'all in the fall. Okay. And if you haven't watched all the videos in this series, go back and catch all of the previous videos. I recommend YouTube for that, but they're also on LinkedIn and YouTube. All right? Yes. So I'm going to send y'all out with my electric slide. Hey. Happy Juneteenth, fam. Yes. Imagine, guess what song I'm playing in my head? Hey, get it? Juneteenth celebration. If you just joined and you want to know why I'm dancing, it's because we out here for Juneteenth. Doing the electric slide at the cookout. Make sure y'all save me a plate, okay? I'm going to come through. Let me know where you at. And on that note, much love to y'all. I'll see y'all in the fall. Yeah, I'm available for bookings. Clouds Blush. You can send me a DM or email me at sarah@colorismhealing.com or info@colorismhealing.com. Or I have forms on my website as well, so visit colorismhealing.com. Kyla Keisha, I'm doing it with you. I know you're doing it, sis. I know you're doing it with me. All right, but I'm going to continue dancing on my own off camera so that y'all can get back to your celebrations, get back to your cookouts, your grilling, get back to your ribs and your mac and cheese and your baked beans, okay? Put me something in some Tupperware, put it in the freezer, because it might be a while before I can come get it, okay? Love y'all. Thanks for entertaining my silliness today. Mwah. All right, and LinkedIn and YouTube, thank y'all for being troopers. I hope you got some good entertainment from my electric slide. And I'll see y'all